Good day, everyone, and how are you? My name is KK. As you know me, that I've been teaching in this world for many years. So today, our business of today, we are going to discuss what you call communicative approach. Communicative approach. Ladies and gentlemen, I allude you that today we are going to develop a skill of knowing how to explain communicative approach, whereby it tells us communicative approach or communicative language teaching involves developing a language of preferences through interaction embedded in a meaning of a context. This approach to teaching provides authentic opportunity for a learning that go beyond repetition and memorizing of grammatical pattern in an isolation. They say that a central approach of communicative approach we call a communicative competence. The central approach that play a crucial part or important role on communicative approach, we call it communicative competence. In this communicative competence that we're talking about, it is made up of communicative approach or communicative competence. It is made of four competence. When we talk about these four competence, we are talking about the competence that a particular individual has to develop in order to learn a second language acquisition, which is SLA. Simply means we're talking about English language as a medium of instruction in South Africa. So that when we talk about these four competence, namely obviously, we are talking about number one is linguistic competence. When we talk about linguistic competence, we are talking about how to know the vocabulary, how to know vocabulary, and how to know syntax, and how to know the grammar. You know, the grammar in English, it plays very important role coming to English. If you don't know a grammar in English, you are nobody. Because for you to know English, you must know a grammar, and you have to be able to use grammar appropriately. And you have to be able to know the vocabulary. When you talk about the vocabulary, you're going to ask yourself, what questions to know? What question to know and how words are used and how to put them in a sentence. How words are used and how to put them how to put them in a sentence. Simply means when you know a linguistic competence, you're going to develop a skill of vocabulary, grammar, and syntax. If you know these three, you're going to know how to use some certain words in a form of sentence or instructions. If you know these three, a grammar, vocabulary, and syntax, you're going to know how to use words in a particular sentence. Typical example is number two, which is we're talking about linguistic. Number two, we're talking about social, linguistic. Number two, when you talk about social linguistic, you have to be able to respond to knowing how to respond to a particular communication in a learning SLA. In second language acquisition, you have to be able to know that you have what you call social linguistic competence. Social linguistic competence, you are talking about how to respond to a language fluently or appropriately. You can be given a topic. You have to be able to respond. Where is the respond? Respond to a topic or a given. It can be on a given statement. You have to be able to develop a skill how to respond to a particular topic of social linguistic competence. Number three, competence number three. We talked about linguistic, we talked about social, we're talking about discourse. Discourse competence. When you talk about discourse competence, you are talking about how to interpret a particular language or a particular statement in a simple form, whereby you be asking yourself such a ways how to use a phrase in a sentence, how to put them together to a particular conversation or speeches. It can be an email or a newspaper article. You have to be able to develop a skill how to coherent a particular statement in a simple form, whereby you use conjunction such as however, therefore, furthermore. By doing that, we are developing or you are coherent the conversation or speeches of two people. You have to be able to know how to interpret the communications or conversations or to people or more, whereby you can be given a phrase and a sentence, whereby you have to be able to put them together to create a conversation or a speech. You have to develop a skill of which ways of phrase to use. Because one thing for sure, what I know is that you cannot develop a paragraph whereby you don't have a certain ways to use. So for you to develop a certain paragraph, you have to be able to have a new ways that you're going to use in a particular paragraph. So that's all about this course competence, which is very straightforward. The fourth one is strategic competence. When we talk about strategic competence, we are talking about how to recognize and repair communication breakdowns, or how to use around gaps in someone's knowledge of strategic competence, and how to know when you have misunderstood someone. You are going to develop what we call strategic competence. You are going to ask yourself a question of whereby you will say, what do I say then? How can I express my ideas if I don't know the name of something or the right verb to use? So if you are doing that, you are experiencing what we call strategic competence. Because you'll be able to know that a particular person is making a particular mistake, whereby you are going to develop a skill of recognize and be able to repair the communications or breakdowns. You know that in English, you are not good, all of us around the world, that we are good in English. Even myself as a teacher now, I can make mistakes whereby you learners, you're going to be able to correct me. The time you correct me, you are using your strategic competence, whereby you're going to be able to have what we call, we have strategies. Strategies. You know, if you have got strategies, you can apply it to anyone or everywhere, so that you can see what someone is up to, or you can be able to spot the difference that this is this and this is that. It's not like this, it's like that. By doing that, we are strategizing the competence. Good job. Up to so far, I think tomorrow we are going to discuss what we call learning second language acquisition. So this one is the business of tomorrow, whereby you're going to discuss the learning of second language acquisition. So it's tomorrow's business. I'm going to be hitting you with questions tomorrow, and you must make sure that if you don't give me an answer, you're up to no good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for today's lesson. Tomorrow, we're gonna meet again, same class, same venue. Enjoy your day.